Well, I want to talk about where the planets are really quick, only because we've got a couple of retrogrades that we've been dealing with, like Jupiter's retrograde, Saturn's retrograde, Uranus is retrograde, Neptune is retrograde, Chiron, of course, right now is retrograde, and of course the North Node. But it's just the fact that there's this feeling of things going backwards and reverse, or I don't know. Like right now, and my frustration over what's going on with the election and Trump is very, very frustrating because regardless if he wins or loses, it's the idea that it's this close. It should not be close. There's no way that man should be ever near the office of president, ever. There's there's nothing, there's no redeeming quality there. So I question like what is going on. It could just be straight out misogyny or racism or misogynoir, as my daughter likes to point out. It could be one of those, but I don't get it because this guy is really not qualified. I mean, really. And completely not the right person for America. It I said it in one of my last videos, but the damage of that choice is too much for our nation to withstand. I really foresee some really horrible things occurring if he anywhere gets anywhere near power. And of course, I don't think he'll last. It's basically just putting Vance in because the guy will be most likely in prison if he gets. I don't even know if he'll be able to get convicted because he'll pardon himself if he gets elected, right? So all of it, it's just so distasteful. Everything about it is completely distasteful to me. Um, Mercury is on my Neptune. So, of course, I'm talking and I might be talking in a way that you might find like, what is she talking about? Like, it's funny. I'm older, so I know about Donald Trump from years back. Like, I'm from Jersey as well, and we knew about Donald Trump and about his criminal activities and who he was. As a person from New Jersey, I knew that years ago. I mean, I'm talking like the 80s, okay? Because this guy was already filing bankruptcies and they were already doing investigations and he was already in trouble a lot, and know, how can I put this? Uh, I thought he was a made man. I'm from Jersey. I had worked in a company that was for the mob, and I always thought that Trump was part of it. I'm sorry. I always did. Now maybe he was. I don't know. We don't know, right? Look what's been going on. Like this guy is getting numbers that shouldn't be. Like things happen around him that shouldn't happen. I just, I speak out, but there's always fear. Like the guy is dirty. I mean, there's no getting around it. We're talking about a dirty dude, man. He ain't never been clean. There's a guy who was the producer, I think, of The Apprentice here in America. He blames himself. He says he created The Apprentice. He created the imagery, the guy, the persona, and then America, of course, bought into this persona, and then this is what really he wrote in on, this persona. But that's not him. I keep trying to tell people the real Donald Trump is the guy you keep seeing in prison. You hear people scream, lock him up. He's always been that guy. Yeah, I was only like 18, 19, 20 years old when I first heard he was a criminal. Like, it's years ago. Give you an example. The guy built like the casinos in Atlantic City and didn't pay people. Who built entire freaking casinos and don't pay? We're talking millions of dollars, like hundreds of millions of dollars. How he ever got away with half the stuff he already got away with? It said this man has something like 4,200 court cases he's been involved in. Whether he's doing the suing or others are suing him. The 4,000, y'all. That's not normal. We're talking about some abnormal things. This is an abnormal person. which we have started to realize after you start talking about Arnold Palmer's junk, right? Like, that's crazy. This guy is not even talking well anymore. It's because he's old. I mean, let's keep it real. He played on your emotions for like 2 years, 3 years, saying, "Oh, Biden's old." That was projection. Okay. The truth is, the guys were what, 2, 3 years max apart. They're both old. They were equally old. I've made videos about that. But Trump talks in projection. So a lot of times when he's talking, he could be talking about himself. You don't know because he's gotten accustomed to talking in projection because he's a malignant narcissist. I've said this before. All the professionals say that's so. And imagine we're dealing now with a malignant narcissist who is now older and dealing with aging in a bad way. In a very public way. It's not good, you guys. But I could have told you this was going to happen. I did, I think, tell you what was going to happen if you go back and listen to me close enough. Because I told you he has Pluto that was going retrograde in the 6th house and it was going to go direct, and it did. And he also has transiting Saturn if you know, in what we would call the solar first house, because if you put Gemini in the first and it puts Saturn and Pisces up in the 10th. 10th house is your career, your reputation. I told you guys what was coming. You guys didn't listen. But you know, it is what it is. Now, some of you guys are going out there and still voting for this man. And I'm asking myself, why? This is the man who said he wishes he had more loyal generals like Hitler, who literally is repeating his words in his speeches. And you guys are buying into it. It's rhetoric, it's propaganda. It's the same propaganda that got Hitler in the situation he got in. Why would you follow that? Why would you go for that? And I've already talked about the black men or women or whatever who go, "How y'all doing?" If you give this man any kind of power at this point, and who knows what kind of deals he's made to get the power, because I don't think he's getting these votes and getting where he's getting alone, especially since he's got people like Elon Musk pouring out unlimited money in his direction. I mean, giving away $1 million checks literally under investigation by the DOJ right now because that's illegal. You're not even allowed to give out things like that. You can't do it under the guise of having your friend do it. They're still doing it. Anyway, they're under investigation for election fraud. Because Elon is out there giving out $1 million checks to people because they voted. First of all, he wants to verify that you voted and all this kind of stuff and maybe who you voted for. All of that is so illegal. Ain't nobody supposed to know all that. If you choose to tell, that's one thing. But you not to hold it over someone's head. I'll give you $1 million if you tell me all this and you register here and do what I say. That's a mastermind genius evil. I'm the richest man in the world. I'm gonna pay $1 million for your vote. Like, oh my God. Like, sometimes I feel like, is this a cartoon? Is this like Pinky in the Brain? And I'm like, no, this is real. This is really happening. This is not Pinky in the Brain. This is the real thing. And it is scary because there's some of you guys, yeah, I laugh at it from afar, but I don't laugh at it at the idea of it actually occurring in my life. Like, I don't want that to be my president. I can laugh at the guy trying to be president again after doing so horribly. But the idea that you would vote him in on some stupid thing like freaking gas or egg prices or anything remotely like that, since he is not the person who was responsible for the low prices when we had them. Obama told you who it was. He had 75 straight months of like growth. It took Trump less than 3 years to tank everything he had done over 8 years. Just keep it real, you guys. Stop. There's a criminal trying to, it's like saying, oh yeah, it's okay to have the Joker be our president. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because at the end of the day, it's still the Joker. Guy's still crazy. he still has issues that we can't deal with. He doesn't really have a solution anyway. Everything Kamala is offering sounds way better than anything he's offering. I mean, a thing that man's offering that sounds good. Nothing. It's always about what he's going to do to people and how he's going to repay, revenge. I always say he's only running for office so he can stay out of prison. I said that the last time, and it's true. You know it's true. So I've been a little bit distressed that I've heard that Kamala's still winning, but I'm upset that he's getting a stronghold in places like North Carolina again, or Florida again, or Georgia again, or any of those places. We really want those places to stand up to this because we're counting on you. We're counting on you to make the right choice. And it just says a lot about us as people. Like I always say, there's only really two real reasons you wouldn't vote for Kamala. It's either misogynoir or straight out racism, because she is way more qualified. Whenever he says that she would tank the world or America and she's not qualified or she's too dumb or she can't put two sentences together, he's talking about himself. We see him not being able to put two sentences together. We see him saying stupid things. We saw him tank the country. Literally, 1 million people died. According to the way Obama explained it, because our neighbors, per capita, we go by per capita, they lost 600,000 less people because they did things differently. Trump was not a good president. So when you say he was, first of all, I feel like it's gaslighting. You're trying to get us to believe something that is not true. It wasn't true then, so it's not going to be true now. They might have spun some stories about history, but it doesn't make it true. It was not ever true. It's a horrible person. Awful. I voted him out. And I'll be honest, I could not wait to vote him out. He had to be voted out. Maybe because some of you guys are young or don't understand, but I don't recall a president that I really, except for Bush, I really wanted Bush out. Both Bushes. Sorry, I like Bush now, the younger one, but they just weren't, my cup of tea. And so I wanted them out, but it was nothing like this. I didn't have the fear or anything like this. This is something altogether different. This is not like the Republican Party. That's why so many Republicans are voting for Kamala, because they don't recognize their own party either. It's actually been taken over by the MAGA cult. It's a cult now. It's MAGA. It's, they say they're making America great again, but to what part of America? The man's been quoting things from 1789 and saying things like Lincoln should have made a better deal. Like, what the? You guys, I'm absolutely mortified. And a lot of people are saying he's got dementia, and that's why he's saying the things that he's saying, because they are horrific things that are being said. But it doesn't matter whether it's dementia, especially if it's dementia. That's even more reason not to vote for the guy. This is not the time to vote for that guy. Maybe 8 years ago, you could have got away with it. You can't. This guy is not. No. I mean, you want a future, right? It's not about, I don't think it's about racism or color or anything like that, or money. You want a future. This is about, do we got a future or do we not got a future? Because I don't think we're going to have a future with that guy. Between Putin and Elon Musk and the richest guy, these are evil, what they call the evil, sinister antagonists that are basically buying into the presidency with this guy. This is not good. I heard that Trump was or that Putin had something over him, basically. I don't know about any of that. I just know I'm scared to give him a shot because, first of all, he's a rapist. And more women. Just because only one so far got, he's been proven to be a rapist doesn't mean that's the only one. There's tons, like a dozen or more women who he's done things to that are willing to say it publicly. So this is a predator. And I have been seeing stupid things like Mega does dumb things. It's projection because he does projection, and then they go and repeat what he says and his projection. But they've been trying to show pictures of Kamala with Epstein. First of all, she's a female, and if she was with him, then she was in jeopardy herself. I'm just going to keep it real because she was obviously young. If that was truly real, I think that was Photoshop. But the fact is that Trump is, passenger XY. He's got a number and everything. Trump was a frequent flyer. Why would you show Epstein with anybody and try to use that as an example of why not to vote for somebody? When your dude that you're voting, that you got, is a frequent flyer to the island. Used the man's airplane just about a month ago. I think he's still flying around in it, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't even want to go into rumors about one of his sons intimated that he took him out. You guys, there's some stuff going on. And y'all gonna vote for that? That's a whole dumpster fire. We don't need to be nowhere near that dumpster fire. When you see fire, you run and you call for the fire department. That's what you do. You don't deal with it. We shouldn't be dealing with that. And did you see Kamala Harris came on today to talk about like a national PBS public service announcement about Trump? His aide, one of the generals, said the man was a fascist and was wanted to have be like Hitler or whatever. What? This is not anything we should be near. Okay? This is not anything we should be near. I have been telling you guys, as a astrologer, as a tarot reader, as a spiritual life coach, I've said repeatedly, it's dark. All I see around that man is darkness. And that is not good. That does not bode well for us. We need something better than darkness. With Kamala, I see light. A lot of light. She's, one of the things I found out is that Kamala is the one who's actually Christian. Trump's got the fundamentalist Christians calling him Jesus and everything else, and that man doesn't even know how to read a Bible. He don't even know the verses of the Bible. The man doesn't know nothing. He ain't no Christian. He played you. Obviously, I said that when it first came out because I remember the moment Trump went from being regular Trump to Christian Trump. I remember because one day, all of a sudden, they had these priests and they were putting their hands around him like he was some kind of, he needed a blessing. And I'm thinking, what are these? I got angry. I'm like, what are these preachers or whatever around him? He is evil. I said that then. It was like something like demonic. Now, I saw Kamala at a Baptist mega church, and she had a blessing from the church. They also wished her happy birthday. It was beautiful, by the way. She came up and gave a speech. That woman is church bred, okay? She's a Baptist. So if you call yourself a Christian, especially you say you're fundamentalist Christian, this is a Black Baptist church-going woman. And y'all up here dealing with apostasy. Because if you read the Bible, you know they tell us that apostasy was coming. And I am not a big Christian now like I used to be. I used to be a gospel singer. I don't know if you guys know that. I was raised in the church, and I've been in several religions. I was raised as a United Methodist, also went to Baptist. My aunt was a Pentecostal Holy Roller. As I got older, I first tried to become a Jehovah's Witness. That didn't work out for me at all because I loved Michael Jackson. But I did become a Mormon and stayed a Mormon for 35 years. Oh, yeah. I'm a Mormon. but I'm not really a practicing Mormon anymore, but I've not been, communicated or anything like that. And I tried my best to follow the words of wisdom to a certain extent. I drink green tea, which is probably not good, but I do not drink black tea. I will not touch it. Do not drink coffee. I will not touch it. And I used to smoke cigarettes. I do not touch that. Every once in a while, I might take a sip of tequila. I know that's wrong, but it's true. It's my go-to if I do it. But I'm not actually a drinker of anything else. I just can't tolerate that kind of stuff. And one of the things I think that I love the most about being or having been a Mormon, first of all, whether they're right or wrong or good or bad church or whatever, and this goes for all religions, it's the fact that I raised myself and my daughter in a way that I wanted to put positive and good first and foremost in my life. I've never wanted to go out and hurt anybody in my life. I've always wanted to stay as positive and uplifting and as close to living the teachings of the gospel as possible. Now, I am an astrologer. I'm very woo-woo, but Joseph Smith was woo-woo. He came out with his little stones. Nobody believed him, and he found the plates. That's very woo-woo. So, a lot of people don't understand me because some people will come at me like, hey, you're not even a Christian. And I'm like, who told you that? Been a Christian my whole life. Talk to God all the time. My testimony is so strong. I've had my skin grow back from blessings. I walk this day because I was blessed by the missionaries and my bishop. I was laying in the bed. My legs were big as logs. They say that blessings work or don't work based on your faith. And my faith has helped me lose 350 pounds and get out of a wheelchair after 7 years. I think sometimes we judge people unfairly. We see something that we've been taught is bad, and then we believe the person is bad. Like someone might see astrology, and they'll be like, oh, she's evil. She's of the whatever. How do you know that God did not set up this universe in a way for us to understand it the way I do, because he planned it that way? Everything is of God. Everything good of nature is of God. If I help somebody with it, it's good of nature. And when did it become the thing for us as humans to make the judgment? We are not the judge. What? You don't get the judge? You ain't God. You are not making a decision for him. You are not his secretary or his prime minister. You're not Michael or Gabriel or any of the guardian angels. You're none of that. You better worry about yourself. There is a thing in the Bible, a statement about worrying about the pole in stuff. Wait a minute, worrying about the needle or the whatever in someone else's eye when you got a whole pole in your own eye. Or to get the pole out of your eye and deal with your own stuff. Too many people are passing judgment. This is, matter of fact, I believe that Trump's entire campaign is about passing judgment on others, putting others down. That's his whole thing. It's his whole shtick, is projecting his own weaknesses onto others and putting others down. That's what he does. And I know that can't be right. I know that's evil. I know, like, if there was good and evil, downing people all the time, that is not going to fall under the category of good. Not now, not ever. So I already know that's the wrong direction to go in. But some people don't get it, and they don't understand that, and they go in that direction, and I feel like they get sucked into whatever this is that they get sucked into. It's really sad, in my opinion, because I feel like some people have lost all discernment. And my question is why? What is it you think you see there? I always ask that question because my thing is that I have this belief that people think that there's some benefit to supporting the criminal. That there's a benefit in it for you, that it's going to benefit somehow. Well, what if I told you there's zero benefit to it? I mean, unless you're a Nazi, then, you know, you want to bring back the whole Adolf Hitler and Nazi thing, and you're into that, well, okay, I guess that's your thing. But if you're not into that, then why do that? Right? Why would you do that? And that's the whole thing. That's what really is, that's the issue. Why would you do that? And this is where I stand when it comes to, I'm looking at the polls, and I get a little down because whether she wins or loses, it lets me know that we're dealing with evil. Like this, I believe this entire election is now in a battle between good and evil. We live among evil people. And I don't know how many people realize this is not good, you guys. To have that many people willing to let it go to fascism or Nazism or whatever evil is planned. It's actually so disheartening because you would think there's more good, that there would be more desire to have good in our world. And it's painfully obvious that there are people who don't want anything good. They want more of whatever we endured over the last 8-9 years with this man. And I'm shocked, okay? I can't get over it. It just shocks me because I just feel like we've got to be better than this. There's got to be some decency left in America. But, you know, like I was about to say earlier, a lot of people were raised on this horrible, evil, political thing, and they've gotten used to it. They got numb to it. I'm looking at the planets, and other than looking at the retrogrades, the sun's at 1 degree of Scorpio. We're in Scorpio. Mercury's at 16. And by the way, happy Scorpio season to everybody. At 1 degree and 12 minutes of Scorpio. And I think when things are in Scorpio, first of all, we might lose our balance and things might get a little dark. Mercury's also in Scorpio at 16 degrees. And today we had the moon at 28 degrees of Cancer sitting on my North Node, which is probably why I'm out here running my mouth. And that North Node, by the way, is trine Neptune at 27 degrees of Pisces, but it's also opposed Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. The good thing is Pluto is now direct and not retrograding, and soon it will be back in on the 19th of November. It will be back in Aquarius, and it will stay there for the next, until 2044. So it's going to be there for a long time. Anyway, I just wanted to just kind of go over where those planets were really, really quickly, because, you know, some of you guys might be wondering, where are the planets today? Like I said, Mars is at 25 degrees of Cancer. I think I told you that. The moon and Mars are conjunct right now. Also, that Mars is exactly sextile Uranus, which is retrograde in Taurus. And, you know, I talked about the Mars and Uranus sextile before. Like, I just feel like uncertain, sudden, unexpected actions are occurring. And I think that's the, 46, 47% for Trump that's happening, which, some of you guys might be like, oh, 47%, that's not that great. And I'm like, get the heck out of here. He shouldn't even be in the 40s. That's, to me, it's so distressing. It makes me want to cry. Like more than 40% people voted for them. Please tell me it doesn't end up like this. Is horrendous. So this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. To me, that is a nightmare. Like that makes me feel so sad for our nation. Like really, like the fact that we have not done better than that. It's embarrassing to me. I'm so ashamed of Black Trump voters. They shame me. I am ashamed of them because this man is obviously a racist. And my thing is, even if he isn't, it's the fact that, you know, like his son was out with his Nazi friends flying on the swastika and stuff like that. And it's just the idea that they're so grossly racist, and anyone of color would vote for that. It's not hidden. It's pretty obvious to me. So when I see that, I just want to, like, oh my gosh, it's just disgusting, really. I have so little respect for anyone who would vote in that way. I can't put it into words how gross that is to me because of what it means to make that vote. And you know, what can I do, right? Everyone has a right to do what they want, even if it's to their own detriment. I mean, it's not my place to tell them what to do, right? I can't do that for nobody. So you know, it is what it is. Everybody's going to make their own decision. They're going to choose what they want. But it sure does bother me, and it doesn't make me feel safe as a person of color, because I wonder how much of the vote is racially motivated, and then it makes me feel insecure as a Black person in this country.